The Legend of Zelda is one of the oldest and most loved Nintendo series. Today, I'm going to be talking through all 22 games in the series and letting you know the best way to play them or experience them in 2024. My name is James, and I started this channel simply because I love video games. If that sounds like you, please subscribe to my channel so that you can see more videos just like this one. The original plan for this video was to talk through the entire series and briefly tell what I like and what I don't like about each game, and then also talk about the best way to play them and how accessible they are in 2024, what they're like for new players, and maybe even get into some of the lore stuff surrounding each of the individual games. And that vision just got way out of hand. So today I'm really just going to be talking through the games and telling you the best way to play them, and some of my own opinions about what I like about the individual games might slip in there, but that's really not the point of this video. The point of this video is telling you what your options are as far as experiencing different games. So up first, obviously, we have The Legend of Zelda. Originally on the Famicom in 1986, came to America on the Nintendo Entertainment System, or NES, in 1987, and then it bounced around between some different consoles since then. In 2001, it was playable on the GameCube in Animal Crossing as a minigame, and then in 2003, it came to the GameCube as part of the Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition, which I have here. And it was re-released on cartridge for Game Boy Advance in 2004. It was available in the Virtual Console for both the Wii in 2006 and the 3DS in 2012. It also, fun fact, in 2008 in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, you could not play... I don't know if you could play the entire game, but there was like a 10 or 15 minute demo available in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, which is pretty cool. Today, the easiest way to play Zelda 1 is on the Nintendo Switch, through Nintendo Switch Online. It adds quality of life improvements as far as being able to create save states and pause and rewind. So the Nintendo Switch is probably your best option as far as getting into this game now. However, I will say, when this game came out in 1987 on the NES, it came with a map and an instruction booklet, and on that map, it would tell you the locations of the dungeons, and the instruction booklet would tell you what different items do, how to defeat different enemies. It would give you lots of instruction. None of the re-releases of this game since 1987 have done anything similar to that. Playing with that map would be your best, probably the best overall experience, unless you want to play with a guide. In 2024, what I would probably recommend, playing it on Nintendo Switch and doing a quick Google search, either finding that map or finding a guide or a walkthrough that you want to go through, would probably be your best bet. Up next is Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, also released on the NES, actually the very next year, so 1988. It had a very similar life to that first game, once again included in the Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition on GameCube, came to Game Boy Advance in 2004, Wii Virtual Console in 2006. In 2011, it launched as part of on 3DS as part of the 3DS Ambassador Program, 3DS Virtual Console in 2013, and also the Wii U Virtual Console in 2013. And today, it lives on the Nintendo Switch as part of Nintendo Switch Online through the NES catalog. Unlike the first game, as far as I know, this game didn't come with a map or a bunch of helpful hints and guides. And today, the best way to get into the game is on Nintendo Switch Online. Similar to the first game, it's got quality of life improvements, save states, rewind, all that good stuff available on Nintendo Switch through the NES catalog. One thing that I should go ahead and mention, I'm going to mention this right here before the next game. I'm going to be talking about the 3DS Ambassador Program and the Virtual Consoles a lot in this video. For those of you that don't know, so Virtual Console basically means it was only available for digital purchase on a specific platform. Since the eShops for the Wii, the Wii U, and 3DS have been shut down, all of those options kind of go away, but I do still want to talk about them here. And then the 3DS Ambassador Program was basically a catalog of games that was given to people that bought the 3DS before they lowered the price. Obviously, since the 3DS has been out for years now, you are not able to still get into the Ambassador Program. So yeah, all of those were once options, but are now sealed off. Up next, we have The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past. This one originally came out on the Super Nintendo in, I believe, 1991 or 1992. I thought it was 1992. Online it said it was 1991, so believe what you want. Re-released on the Game Boy Advance in 2002, and then hit the Virtual Console for the Wii in 2006, 3DS in 2016, and I should also include that it was available through DSiWare in 2011, which we'll talk more about that later. And today, this game is available on Nintendo Switch Online, and it's actually available through the SNES version and the Game Boy Advance collection on there. As far as I know, the Game Boy Advance and the SNES versions are pretty much the same. If I were to go in and play it, I would probably play the SNES version. Coming up next is Link's Awakening. Originally released on the Game Boy in 1993 and released on the Game Boy Color as Link's Awakening DX in 1998, which added a color-themed dungeon and a couple items. Then fully remade in 2019 on Nintendo Switch, which I have here. And so today, the best way for new players to play the game would probably be that Switch version. However, if you're going to already be checking out Nintendo Switch Online for the first 3 games that we talked about, the Game Boy Color version of this game is available on Nintendo Switch Online through the Game Boy catalog. I'll also say that version of the game aged very well. Other than the graphics, it's pretty much identical to the Switch release. Up next, we've got the first 3D game in the series, The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, or Ocarina of Time, depending on who you are. I've always said Ocarina, but it doesn't really matter. Originally released on the N64 in 1998. Later, this was another one of the games included in that GameCube Collector's Edition that I've been talking about in 2003. And then once again, we've got the Wii Virtual Console in 2007 and the Wii U Virtual Console in 2015. The game was remade, actually, and re-released for 3DS in 2011. And my understanding is that this is a complete remake of the game, so they basically made the game look like what they had originally wanted it to look like. Today, this game is available on Nintendo Switch Online through the N64 catalog. However, I do think that N64 version is a little bit clunky and does not hold up as well. So if you do have a 3DS available to you, the best way to play this game is on 3DS. You can pick up a copy of it for somewhere in the range of $20 to $30 online. So that would be my top recommendation. If you've got a Switch and no 3DS, I guess go ahead and check it out on the Nintendo Switch Online. Up next, we've got Majora's Mask, released for the Nintendo 64 in 2000. This one had a very similar life cycle to Ocarina of Time. I will say, however, I never played this game on N64. My first experience with this game was through the Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition on the GameCube. It Also hit the Wii Virtual Console, but not until 2009. Got a 3DS remake, but not until 2015. And then hit the Wii U Virtual Console in 2016. And so, once again, this game is available on the Nintendo Switch Online service through the N64 catalog. Similar to Ocarina of Time, I do find those versions to be a little bit clunky and not quite as enjoyable for new audiences, especially younger audiences. I think the 3DS is the absolute best way to play this game. If you have a 3DS, you can pick this game up for, once again, somewhere in the $20 to $30 range. If you don't have a 3DS, I guess play it on Switch. And then up next, we've actually got two games that we're going to talk about. Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Seasons, and Oracle of Ages. I'm not going to get into how these games are different, because that doesn't really matter for this video, because every time they've been released side by side. They came out the same day in 2001 on the Game Boy Color, and they were stranded on the Game Boy Color until 2013, when they landed on the 3DS Virtual Console, and then they were stranded on the 3DS Virtual Console for 10 more years. And now they're finally available on Nintendo Switch Online. So, unless you can get an original cartridge of this game, your only real option here is to play the games on Nintendo Switch Online. And I'll also say that Switch Online version of these games is great. They aged so wonderfully. The colors really pop, especially if you have a Switch OLED. And the codes that you put into the games to make the oracles and the seasons correspond with each other to make it one complete story works. The codes work on the Switch version, so there's really no reason to play this game anywhere other than Switch at this point. Up next, we've got The Legend of Zelda 4 Swords, which a lot of people don't even really consider this as like a real game. I do, even though I can understand why it's not. It's never gotten a standalone release. However, in 2002, it was packed in with the Game Boy Advance remake of Game Boy Advance re-release of A Link to the Past. And then 2011, it was on DSiWare. And I mentioned I would talk about this later. I'd never had a DSi, so I wasn't very familiar with this. My understanding of DSiWare is that basically it was a catalog of games that was exclusive to the DSi that you'd access through the eShop or the Virtual Console. That's no longer available now that the DS eShop is shut down. That DSiWare version of the game tweaked the game a little bit and made it playable in like a one-player mode, and then added some additional content. Previously, the game was only available in multiplayer modes. So, today, this game is available on Nintendo Switch Online in the Game Boy Advance catalog. However, that's not really the best way to play the game because it requires you to play the game multiplayer. I know that if two people have Nintendo Switch Online, they can play together through the internet. Actually, my wife and I played together that way. And I think you might be able to use two controllers on one system, but I didn't try that. So it is a little odd to me that they made the Game Boy Advance version available on Switch Online instead of the DSiWare version of the game. However, since there are no other DS games on Nintendo Switch Online, that does kind of make sense. But best way, you're kind of stuck there that your only real option is Nintendo Switch Online unless you know someone that has a DSi that has DSiWare installed that had this game on there. But if I'm being perfectly honest, this game's only about 3 hours and you're really not missing much if you've never played it. Up next, we have a crowd favorite, The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. Originally released on the GameCube in 2002, which I've got the GameCube version here. it was re-released for the Wii U in 2013. If I remember correctly, the Wii U version of the game, for a little bit of time, you could get it as a bundle with the Wii console, or the Wii U console. This is the first game that we're talking about that's not available on Nintendo Switch Online, which makes accessing it a little bit more difficult. You probably don't have a Wii U. If you have a Wii U, you probably already have this game. However, when I was looking online through some resale sites and stuff, you could get, if you do have a Wii U, you could get this game complete in box, I think for about $60, which is not bad. And if you don't have a Wii U, you could pick up the game and the Wii U for about $200, which is not ideal, but it's also not terrible. I didn't look up how hard it would be to get a GameCube, what the GameCube version of this game costs. I will say, however, that the HD version of the game on Wii U is the better experience. There was some tedious stuff as far as changing the direction of the wind and playing songs on your Wind Waker that they made better. And then at the end of the game, when you're collecting stuff from around the world, they made that section a lot better too. Up next, we have The Legend of Zelda 4 Swords Adventures, and it was released on the GameCube in 2004. Got the GameCube version here, and it's never been anywhere else. This game was unique in that it kind of relied on multiplayer, but you can play it solo. However, getting this game, if you don't have this game and you don't have a GameCube, you're looking at probably $150 to $160 to be able to get in there and play this game. If you do already have a GameCube, you can probably find this game anywhere from $30 to $60, depending on the listing and the condition of it and stuff. Personally, if you already have a GameCube, this game might be worth the $30 that you could sometimes find it for. But if you don't have a GameCube or this game, I don't think it's worth the $150 to $175 that it would take to get in there. So today, your only option is that GameCube version, and it's not a super easy option either. Up next, we have The Legend of Zelda, the Minish Cap, and this one came out originally for Game Boy Advance in 2004, was included in that 3DS Ambassador program in 2011, but never hit the 3DS Virtual Console. And then in 2014, it did go to the Wii U Virtual Console. And today, this game is available through Nintendo Switch Online in the Game Boy Advance catalog. And I was super excited when that came to there. I think it was like in 2020. I want to say it came in like 2022. It was really exciting when this game came to Nintendo Switch Online because it became available to a much bigger audience who had never played it before. Downloaded Switch Online and played it, and she loved it. I just realized that is the last one of these games that we're going to talk about that's available on Switch Online. Moving on to the next one. We've got Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, and this game was obviously a Wii launch game when it came out. Got my Wii version of the game here, but a lot of people don't know actually that this game was also released on the GameCube. And the two versions of the game were different, so they built the game on GameCube, and then they realized that on the Wii version so Link has always been a left-handed character, and they realized that if the player was going to have the Wii remote in their right hand, Link needed to be holding his sword in his right hand. So they mirrored the whole game. So to this day, the Wii and the GameCube version of the games are mirror images of each other. All right, and then this is another one. It was re-released on Wii U in 2016 as Twilight Princess HD. And this is another one that is kind of hard to get into. The best overall experience would probably be the Wii U version. Even if you have a Wii U, getting a copy of Twilight Princess HD now that the Wii eShop is gone, you're looking at still about $100. If you have a Wii U but don't want to pay $100 for this game, you can actually find the Wii version of this game pretty easily for about in the $15 to $20 range online, which is a little bit better, assuming that you have a remote and nunchuck that works. And then there's also the option of trying to track down the GameCube version, and I'm thinking that you can get the GameCube game and a console for about $100, which is really not that bad in my opinion. Up next, we have The Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass. Originally released in 2007 on the Nintendo DS and re-released on the Wii U Virtual Console in 2016. So once again, unfortunately, the Wii U Virtual Console. So as we know, Virtual Consoles are no more. So only way to play this game is with an actual cartridge on DS. Tracking down a DS or 3DS that can play the game, that's up to you. When I was looking online, you can get this game on loose from you're looking about $20 loose, anywhere from $40 to $50 if you want it complete in box. So we're on a stretch of games right here that aren't really easy to get into, but that'll change here in a little bit. And for Phantom Hourglass, I would say $20. $20 I think would be pretty good for it. 20 to 30 I think would be reasonable. If you're looking at 40 or 50, Up next, we have The Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks, which, once again, Nintendo DS, only way to play it. So, Nintendo DS in 2009, Virtual Console 2016, and this one is a little bit pricier. Even loose cartridge, you're looking at about $50 for this game. And then complete in box could probably run you as much as $100. Up next, we've got The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. Originally released on the Wii in 2011, and then it came to the Wii U Virtual Console in 2016. I've got the Wii version here, and it was re-released on Nintendo Switch in 2021, which I've got here as well. I'm going to say the best experience is probably going to be playing it on the Switch. That'll run you about $60. You can probably find it cheaper than that used online, but new from Nintendo is going to run you $60. If you were buying a Wii U already to play one of the earlier games on this list, you can find the Wii version of this game, which would be playable on Wii U, given that you have a Wii Motion Plus remote and a nunchuck and all that stuff. You can find loose disc for this game for about $10. Complete in box, I've seen them go up to about $50. But that's the kind of thing that, like, if you're going to be paying $50 for a complete in box Wii game, you might as well just buy it brand new on Switch for $60. Up next is The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds. This one came out on 3DS in 2013. And unfortunately, this one is stranded on that platform. No Wii U Virtual Console, nothing. Only 3DS. A lot of people really love this game. I haven't actually played the whole thing, but I was surprised when I was looking at the price of stuff online. Even with the 3DS shop being shut down, you can get a loose cartridge of this game for as low as $15. Which I think is really not bad. I would say if you have a 3DS, that's definitely worth it. Up next, we've got Hyrule Warriors, which some people would say that I shouldn't even have counted this game. I'm counting it because I want to. Hyrule Warriors, originally on the Wii U, got the Wii U version here. That came out in 2014. also released on the 3DS in 2016, and it did get a definitive edition on Nintendo Switch that I've got here in 2018. So the best experience is going to be to obviously play this game on the Switch. However, if you mainly buy your games from stores like GameStop, Best Buy, Target, you are never going to find this game ever. It seems like they did a limited supply of this game and they just sold out. And now on collector sites, they'll say that this game is pretty valuable. However, I did find one on a resale site for about $50. If you're, trying to save a little bit of money, you can get the Wii U version of the game complete in box for as low as $5. I saw it online, which $5, like that's, might as well, right? And then the 3DS version, which when I was looking at those, from loose cartridge to complete in box, you're looking at anywhere from $10 or $15 to $30 or $40. Hyrule Warriors, I feel like there's so much stuff going on and so many little things that you want to see on screen that I wouldn't want to play that on DS. But yeah, another one that's available on Switch. Up next, we've got Triforce Heroes, the 3DS multiplayer-ish game. Only released once on the 3DS in 2015. You can pick it up online for about $20. And even that, I would say it's probably not worth it. It's designed to be played multiplayer, but you can play it single player switching between the different characters. It's really not fun to play it that way. So I would say, even if you have a 3DS and find this game somewhere for $20, I would, outside of just collecting it just to have it, I would say it's probably not worth it if you plan on playing it. All right, and then we get down to the end here. We got Breath of the Wild, which released in 2017 alongside the Nintendo Switch. Got my Switch version here, but also came to the Wii U. I didn't look up how much the Wii U version of the game costs if you have a Wii U but not a Switch for some reason. Yeah, but that one available on Nintendo Switch, and I would bet that the Switch is probably a better experience than playing it on the Wii U. Switch version, I think, is supposed to be a little bit better. Obviously, it would be on Switch, which is a more modern platform, and then also you have decreased load times and all that good stuff. Next, we've got another Hyrule Warriors game. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. The canon Hyrule Warriors game that is a prequel to Breath of the Wild. This one was only released once. It was released on Nintendo Switch, which I got here, and it was released in 2020, and that's pretty much it. That's the only way to play the game. And then finally, we get to The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which was released on the Nintendo Switch. Got it here. Released in 2023, and I don't really know what else to say. But actually, that's not it. Because now we know that later this year, there's actually going to be another Zelda game coming to Switch. The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, which is a game that I'm really looking forward to. Get to play Zelda for the first time. But that's all, guys. I hope you found this video informative or entertaining. Let me know what your favorite Zelda games are down in the comment section. And let me know what kind of videos you want to see like this one. As always, the best way to keep up with me is on Twitter and on Instagram at James_Solar. Thanks, guys.